Hey guys, what's up? Dark here with a gold challenge mode guide to Auchindoun. I am the Brewmaster monk in this group. We are running a Disc Priest, Brewmaster monk, double hunter and an unholy death knight. So to start this instance, in the first room you'll enter there will be 3 packs. The first pack we are going to is the one on the right. The focus of this pack is the cleric. The cleric will cast a thing called Void Shell. It puts a shield on all nearby mobs. We use the Disc Priest to mass dispel it. A hunter can also remove the shield from the cleric and you can then just tunnel him down. Once the cleric's down, you're going to move to the pack on the left, where the focus mob is the Soulbinder. The Soulbinder will cast a thing called Bend Will. It's a very quick 1-second cast, and it will cast after the Mind Seer cast is done. If this cast gets off, someone will become mind controlled, you'll lose DPS and you can have a bunch of problems, so don't let it go off. Once the Soulbinder is down, you're going to move to the pack at the top of the room, with the main mob here being this Spirit Tender. Now the first time we actually did these challenge modes, I was on a Blood Death Knight, and we found that we could pull sort of 2 packs together and then chain it into the last pack. But due to my nubness on a Brewmaster monk, we had to split these up like we're doing here. But this way is still fine. If you find you handle it better this way, you're still going to have plenty of time left on the timer doing it this way. So in this pack, as I said, the main focus is the Spirit Tender. Spirit Tender will cast a thing called Void Mending. You can interrupt it or you can purge it if it goes off. We'll also cast Void Shift, which will take the life from another mob just to keep the Spirit Tender alive. AoE stuns are amazing here. If you're able to sort of interrupt the Spirit Tender's casts and bring everything down at the same time, you're going to save yourself quite a bit of time. We found on a few attempts we'd be getting the mobs down and the Spirit Tender would still be left with quite a bit of HP and we'd have to spend a bit of time getting him down. So once those mobs are down, you're going to want to move to the outside. If you move to the outside, it means when the roof collapses that your healer can start drinking straight away and you won't get stunned. Now here is where you're going to want to use your first heroism or drums. We're going to hero on the first and the last boss in here, or I should say drums. With this boss you want to try and tank him in the middle and have your range moving around together sort of into clear sections of the map, and you also want to make sure that there is a clear pathway for melee to get to range should they have to get behind the shield when he throws it. Now as you can see here, this is one of our biggest fuck ups in here. We're immediately cut off straight away, and I don't have diffuse magic up because I had to use it on the mobs to survive, so I'm not going to be able to stay out when he throws his shield. If you're a Blood Death Knight or even a Death Knight, sorry, in general, you're able to AMS and just stay out and keep attacking. And as I said, if you're a Brewmaster and you've got diffuse magic up, you're able to stay out too. But I have to get behind the shield, and I am extremely late on hitting Zen Meditation here, mainly due to the fact that I forgot that I even had Zen Meditation because I'm still learning to play a Brewmaster. So kudos to me there for being a retard. As you can see, this is just terrible positioning, but as I mentioned at the start, your goal is that you're going to want to be able to kill him by the time that the second shield is being thrown or just before it. We have the DPS to do that, and that's really the sort of DPS you need to be able to get gold in here. So I wasn't sort of too worried. It just came down to don't stand in fates, don't stand in the bad lines, and he'd be dead. But really terrible positioning, and if you can avoid that, you know, you really want to. But it just shows that you can still sort of make fuck ups in here and you can still make gold timers. So moving on, you're going to start moving towards the second boss now. This corridor, I should say, sorry, has 5 packs in it, 4 small and 1 large, consisting of 5 mobs at the end. The first 2 are a Defender and an Arbiter. With the Arbiter, you want to make sure you're interrupting the Arbiter's hammer cast. It will stun your tank if they've got mobs on them. It does do a fair bit of damage, and being stunned could kill you, so make sure you've got somebody interrupting that. With the charge, you just want to make sure you're not standing in the little gold orbs that come out there. If you've got a warrior or a druid, you can charge or roots the Arbiter on the first pull, which will stop that initial charge from going off the first time. So once the Arbiter's dead, keep dragging your defenders up. They don't do a lot, and the next pack you're going to get is 1 defender and a Magus. You're going to want to focus the Magus down here, who casts Arcane Bolt. You can interrupt it, you can Dark Sim it, or you can Spell Reflect it. It'll also cast an Arcane Bomb, which you can't interrupt, but a rogue can gouge it. The Arcane Bomb will just cast those little purple orbs you see coming out there. You want to avoid them, or in our case you can either use an AMS or a Diffuse Magic just to mop them up and not have people have to worry about dodging them.
Once the Magus is dead, you're going to keep dragging your defenders up to the next one, which is going to be 2 defenders and a Soul Priest. Now the Soul Priest is going to want to be your focus target here. The Soul Priest will cast a Shadow Word Pain, which needs to be dispelled ASAP. It also casts a thing called Psychic Terrors, which is a defile-like puddle on the ground. You don't want to stand in. If you stand in it, you'll get feared and a little addle spawn, so make sure you're not standing in that. Once that's down, you're going to drag up to the next one, which is going to be an Arbiter, a Magus, and another Defender. Now in this one, we focus down the Arbiter. In hindsight, the best thing to do would be have somebody designated to Arbiter interrupts and to tunnel down the Magus while cleaving off everything else. I don't know really why we chose to tunnel down the Arbiter, probably because I put a skull on it and we sort of hadn't organised anything previously to it, but in hindsight you would want to have somebody designated to that interrupt and just be cleaving off the Magus. We get everything down and our Magus still has around 36 or 35% HP, which is just time wasting. And as you know, in challenge modes we're trying to save as much time as we can to make sure we get that gold timer. So once we get this Magus down, we're going to move up to the next pull, and this is the hardest pull in the instance, unless you have a Death Knight. So with a Death Knight, if you've got one, you're going to pop Army here, and it's pretty much going to negate all of your damage. You're going to pop Army and you're going to focus down the Warden. Now the reason you're going to focus down the Warden is because he puts a little puffy cloud on the ground and he does a chain grip. Now he'll chain grip you into this and he will stun you, and if you are in it for long enough you're going to die and you're going to have a bad day. So what I'm doing here as well is I'm using Serenity and the Breath of Fire glyph just to cheese them for as long as I can in regards to just locking them down with days. So once the Warden dies, or once any of those, the Soul Priest, Magus or Warden dies in this mob, this pack becomes just amazingly easier. We used a Binding Shot and an Explosive Trap there also, just to get another interrupt sort of stun off on them. And I'm also using Engineering Frag Belt Grenades, you can see there, for an interrupt. So just anything you can sort of think of to make your life easier, and here is what you want to do. There's another random zoom in due to my mouse being broken, which was just so annoying. Now with this boss is an absolute joke. It's the same as Heroic. You're going to want to tank her in the middle. The reason for tanking her in the middle is because when she spawns her soul vessels, you don't have to move, you don't have to lose DPS. Obviously a DK with AMS can stay out. I could stay out with Diffuse Magic, but there's no need. We're in the middle. I can just sit in this soul vessel and continue to DPS. She will cast the Mind Spikes, which you can Dark Sim and Spell Reflect back. If you do interrupt her though and then cast Dark Sim, you will get Shadow Word Pain, which you can put on her, which will do more damage than that Mind Spike. So just keep that in mind. But otherwise this is fairly straightforward. Now a little trick you can do here on a Brewmaster, which I kind of ruined with Rushing Jade Wind there, but if you pop a statue, you pop your Ox statue behind where those ads spawn, the ads will just go straight for the statue and you can just drag her back into the middle, which is just going to make life easier on your healer. Again, they don't do a lot of damage, and you want to ignore the ads and just continually tunnel the boss down. You do not need to kill the ads, so just focus the boss down. As you can see, I had her a little out from the middle there, and the soul vessel was a little over. I had Diffuse Magic up though, so I just sat out and killed her.
So once she's down, you're going to want to start moving up towards the third boss, Azakel. The first mob you're going to encounter in this corridor is an Infernal. If you've got a Druid, you can just chain roots it in place. We don't, so we've got the 2 hunters taking care of it. In hindsight, we should have got them to drag it up the hall and not down, while myself and the DK went to deal with the Fel Guards. Basically the Fel Guards, or the Pyromancers, sorry I should call them, they have a 6-second cast of Fel Blast. You really need to make sure that you interrupt that. Leg Sweep, Breath of Fire, Frag Belt, Mind Freeze, Spear Hand Strike, whatever you can do to interrupt it. It's a 6-second cast. You've got time and you want to make sure it doesn't hit anyone. If one is going to go off, you can see who they're targeting. You can counter them with an AMS, a Diffuse Magic, a Deterrence, but you really do want to try and interrupt them. You do have 6 seconds, as I said. Even if your DK has to run back a couple of steps and grip them to interrupt, anything you can do. We should have technically brought them up to the Fel Guard. This was a bit of a waste, time waste here. The Fel Guard just does a Fel Stomp. He doesn't hit overly hard. You just want to sidestep the Fel Stomp, which is a frontal cone attack like that, and get him down. The next pack you're going to come up to is a 4-pack of the Pyromancers. You want to watch these little tricksters too as you're running up. The tricksters don't count towards mob count, just FYI. Now with these ones you want to have some kind of interrupt order worked out. We used an explosive shot for the first one. I used a leg sweep, priest ran in, did a fear bomb, binding shot. You can also apparently grounding totems also eat the fire blasts, so if you've got a shaman in your group, but otherwise I'm using breath of fire to interrupt them. We watched who they targeted there. We negated one with an AMS. We also got another one with a deterrence. So this next pull is the funnest one in the instance. I absolutely love this pull. It's 3 Fel Guards and 6 Pyros. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a statue into the middle, and here once again comes the amazingness of the DK cheese. We're going to run in and AoE grip them. I'm going to wait till the cast nearly gets to the end, and then I'm going to start my Serenity Breath of Fire cheese. Again here you want to just make sure that you're pulling the Fel Guards sort of to one direction so you can sidestep all of their Fel Stomps. Dropped a leg sweep there, and all the imps are dead. So again, we're just going to mop up these Fel Guards, and as you can see, I've sort of got them all facing away from my party. I just sidestep when they go up from the warning and don't get caught. So again, the Fel Guards really, they don't hit very hard. It's literally just watching that Fel Stomp. And that Fel Stomp, just to add, if it does hit one of your DPS, it will one-shot them. So you do need to watch out. Now, Azekul. A lot of people have trouble with Azekul. I remember even when I was gearing my decap Pugwise in the challenge mode dailies, lots of people seem to get cock blocked on Azekul. He's really not too hard if you've got the DPS that you're supposed to have. Some people use hero on him, we don't. As you can see with this Fel Lash, if you're on a DK, you can just face your back to the wall, get that Fel Lash and just continue to tank through it. On the Brewmaster, I found I took a little bit more damage and I had to sort of kite him away for that 100% increased damage to wear off. So I just kited it with Tiger's Lust and a roll. We got him to 59% when he went up. Now the Claws of Argus, he's going to spawn 3 Pyro ads, and you can tell where they're going by the green circles, and a Fel Guard. So I'm going to use Paralysis on one of the ads there, and the other 2 are stacked up on top of each other, so we're going to run over and kill them. I'm going to run over and leg sweep them at the end of that cast there, and then we're just going to drop them down, and they go down very quickly. Again here, you've just got to be mindful of the Fel Guard stomp and the little tricksters. Now I'm just waiting for the Fel Guard to come over here and waiting for his stomp before I move him. And here his stomp comes now, so I'm just going to move him to the side now so it's a little bit easier access for my melee. You don't want to focus the Fel Guard here at all, you just want to tunnel down Azekul. You also want to watch if you've got Curtain of Flame that you're not standing next to anyone. But otherwise this is pretty straightforward. The Imp's still over there, or the Pyromancer, sorry, is still over there CC'd, and we're just dropping Azekul down quickly, and I'm just avoiding the Fel Stomps. Here's the second Fel Lash. Now I wasn't too worried about kiting away on this Fel Lash. He only had 10%. I just wanted to get a touch into him to kill him quickly. Now once he's down, you're going to go to the left side of the room when you came in, where the little teleporter is. Again, if you've got Curtain of Flame, just be mindful of that if you're running next to people. Now here is our biggest fuck up of the instance. This is where we really show just how stupid we are. 3 of us in this group had done gold before, and we just completely forgot that the mob count in here is 48 out of 50 enemies required. So they haven't fixed it yet, but it is 48 out of 50. So we got to that platform and we're 45 out of 50, and we're like, oh my god, what do we do? We're going to have to kill every single thing now on these platforms. And that's the reason we killed the Imp there. So we lost a lot of time, and you know, it's really frustrating. We also were all talking about it on Mumble, going, oh my god, what are we going to do? And we let the cast for Servitude of Grimora go off. So just yeah, we really made a meal of this. But anyway, we're tunneling down Durog now. We're not going to bother getting the Fel Puppy down. It just had too much HP. So when you do hit these platforms, remember it's 48 mobs. You want to hit these platforms with 45, and you just want to single target down basically each of the main mobs in this one. Now this one here again, oh god, it's painful rewatching this. you want to tunnel down the ogre. You don't want to tunnel down his large ad here. Again, we just wasted so much time. This ad here, it will bro storm. So what you want to do generally when you're doing the right thing is when you're tunneling down Gulkosh, or whatever his name is, every time his ad goes to bro storm, you just want to stun him. So rogue kidney shot, asphyxiate, leg sweep. You get the picture. You just want to stun it. If you don't have a stun up, you want to run away. So because the bro storm does do quite a bit of damage. Gulkosh will be casting shadow bolts. You can dark sim them back. You can spell reflect them. You really want to make sure that you're interrupting the drain life. And that bro storm really does do quite a bit of damage. So I probably took a little too much in the face there. But you just want to get this guy down. He has a fuck ton of health. He doesn't hit very hard, but he does have a truckload of health. So you just want to get him down as quickly as possible and get on to the next platform. Another thing probably I should have mentioned too on those imps, if you're struggling for interrupts, you can use, and you've got a druid, you can use a typhoon and a vortex. Works really really well too, sort of as a POV grip to interrupt and put them back in place. But your group's just going to have to find out certain things that'll work for them. So he's down. You want to get across to the next platform. Now this guy here, Gromatash, he is going to sacrifice his void straight away. He doesn't have a lot of health. He drops fairly quickly. That immolate he casts, you really want to get a dark sim or a spell reflect on that immolate. He does so much damage and it will drop him so quickly if you can. You want to make sure you've got an interrupt to get him out of the rain of fire too, because the rain of fire does hurt. The incinerates don't do a hell of a lot of damage, but if you can, you really want to make an effort to dark sim the immolates or spell reflect the immolates, as that will help you progress through him a lot quicker and get onto the final platform with Terran.
So he's almost, now he's down, so we're going to get on the teleporter straight away and we're going to go straight onto Terran. Nice little thing here is that you can have all your range move to the left side of the platform first. It'll mean when the Infernal spawns that it'll go left first, and then you'll have a whole platform to kite it. If you do have a druid, you can just roots it in place and not worry about it. It was going on one of our hunters, so we just let him kite it round. With Terran, you're going to pop Hero straight off the bat and burn him as hard as you can. Remember to pre-pot if you've got it up. You want to drop Terran as quickly as you can. With that first rain of fire, you don't really need to worry about interrupting it, as he'll go to his phase change so quickly. So again with Terran, you want to be burning him down as quickly as possible. You want to be, he'll cast Incinerate. They don't do a hell of a lot of damage. You really want to have an interrupt up to get him out of rain of fire. You want to be able to interrupt Chaos Bolt. And your main priority for spell reflection or dark sim is this immolate here. You can see our DK was able to dark sim immolate there and get it on him, and it just does a fucking arse load of damage. Trying to get an interrupt up on him here to get him out of that rain of fire. The rain of fire does do a lot of damage, so you really got to be careful with your interrupts there. In hindsight, probably the smartest thing to do would be to have called for hunters to give me one from afar, but anyway, it's always easier to make calls when you're watching things afterwards. Terran, if not done quickly, can get really hectic for your healer. You need to make sure you're watching your Seed of Corruption ticks for when that goes down, that you've got some way to try and help your healer out with the burst of damage at the end, and making sure that you get him out of Rain of Fire and you're not in Rain of Fire. As you can see, Terran takes off, I think it's around 10% where he pussies out and runs away. So that's it. We had about a minute or 51 seconds I think left on the gold timer there. It's actually quite a easy timer to get Auchindoun. It just takes a little bit of practice. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you got something out of the video. If you've got any questions, please hit me up. Good luck.